Over the past few years, we've played a lot of Total War games. Some of them were good, some not necessarily. What if we took our favorite part of each game and made one Total War? The perfect Total War. Following with the title of this video, I will look at each game individually and pick out a few mechanics from the gameplay that in my opinion make a given title interesting. Let's start with two games that gave birth to the series, Shogun and Medieval. As I started my adventure with Medieval part, I leave the comment on Shogun to you. In one of the oldest titles, we had access to an excellent option in my opinion, betrayal of an ally on the battlefield. I have no idea why this feature was removed from the future titles, as it gives you amazing tactical option. Imagine that your ally's settlement is being attacked by hordes of barbarians. You arrive on the battlefield at the head of your troops, but do not attack. You wait until both the enemy and your ally have bled to death in battle. When the dust of battle settles, you decide that from now on this city belongs to you. You are a feoden who doesn't help Gondor just get Minas Tirith for himself. Such things as betrayal on the battlefield also occurred in actual battle. For example, at the Battle of Sekigahara, Kobayakawa Hideaki switched sides and joined Tokugawa army. Let's now move on to Rome, the first full 3D game in the series, which we can safely say was a revolution and a game that became the beginning of creative assembly success. I'm not a computer science expert, but seeing the battle between units in Rome make it feels like the game engine was based on mass of units. Stronger and heavier units were pushing lighter, which give them ground. The cavalry charge had more impact and it made sense to use the hammer and anvil strategy. I think that's what battle is all about, conquering terrain, pushing the enemy and breaking his army, and Rome portrays these realities brilliantly. As for Medieval 2, the game I spent the most time with, as the game is more of an evolution than a revolution. The comment about the game engine from Rome fit here as well. Unique to Medieval was the separation of settlements into cities and fortresses, which put strategies possibilities in our hands. Cities, more vulnerable to attack, compensated for their low defensive capabilities with the revenue they generated, while mighty fortresses provide protection for our land and were the places from which we recruit our best units. Another thing I wish the developers would take from Medieval 2 were the great expansions. 4 great and interesting campaign, lots of faction and units, all in one DLC. Is it still possible? Also, the Mongol invasion was very disastrous, frightening, and led to a real challenge. Take notes, Archeon. The next title is Empire Total War, a sad, underdeveloped first major disappointment. Sad music plays. But even a game that started from a loser position brought many interesting solutions to the series. For the first time, we've got naval battles, and they were great, complex, beautiful to look at, enjoyable to play. From my perspective, CA could release naval battles as a separate game and they would still have a lot to offer. A very interesting solution was the division of the world on the campaign map into 3 separate theaters of operation, connected with each other. For a game built around firearms combat, we got complex military formation for our units, which we unlocked in the skill tree. The system of unlocking skills was based on developing universities, where our gentlemen developed technologies. The bigger our empire was, the more universities we had, the faster we developed. Our development was not based on the number of turns that passed, but on the size and evolvement of our country in the development. As Napoleon is practically a perfected improvement of empire, we can also apply the above mentioned comments here. Napoleon's campaign was divided into several smaller episodes, and the focus on one character added our RPG aspect to an interesting campaign. In my opinion, this was a very successful Total War. Ladies and gentlemen, and now the creme de la creme, Shogun 2 Total War. The best, most polished, best balanced Total War. What can I say about my beloved title? CA, shut up and take my money. Despite the fact that the game takes place in Japan, a culturally homogeneous country, the developers managed to bring diversity into the gameplay. Each clan has a trait that, in addition to visual effect, also distinguish them by the characters. The units in Shogun are so well constructed that even the basic Yari Ashigaru have their place in the final phase of the campaign, even though they are basic, lower tier units. I think this is due to the special abilities of the units, which make them usable through the whole campaign. Shogun is also the last part of the series that allowed us to control each unit individually on the campaign map. We could no longer divide our forces to attack on two fronts, and we also don't have the option to leaving our units to guard the captured city, while we continued the assault with the rest of the army. I have great, though delusional hope for the return of this option in the future title. At this point, the era of old Total War ends, and we enter a new one, which I will discuss in the part 2 of this video. For today, thanks for watching and see you in the next episode.